We'll never be back at Barstool.
Did you have a moment? I want to say like comedian destroys racist heckler was like a big thing for you?
Yeah.
Or you were racist?
I didn't even say my title of that's what everybody was calling it. And I never, it's comedy videos are so, the titles are almost pornographic.
Yeah,
sometimes,
they definitely are. It's
where
just
they're like
Mad Libs.
Yeah, comedian participates in petite Asian gangbang. I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a big, there was kind of two pop-off moments last year for the following. And I could speak on it because it's interesting because people come up and, the modern Seinfeld ones were a big thing. And I wrote those years ago. I wrote those modern Seinfeld.
You were modern Seinfeld?
I wrote those maybe in 2016, 2017. And then,
shit.
Wait, you're modern Seinfeld?
Yeah. That's
the Instagram account?
Yeah. Oh, no. My Instagram videos are of the modern.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote those years ago. And I know there is an Instagram account where I think we may have connected after those videos started coming out because he was sending me those people. But I would do like Jerry Kramer and George and like, but I wrote those sketches years ago, started posting them in like 2021. They got some traction, posted one over the summer last year. And I think I went from like 10K on Instagram to 150K within like a week. But I had a big TikTok following. I mean, I was at like 250 something on TikTok. So that's where the 10K on Instagram came from. But then the thing that happens, and this is why I always tell people, if you're posting on social media and it flops, leave it up. Because once people started finding those sketches, they find all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he's a stand-up. Let's go see his shows. And like they would come see the shows. And they're like, wow, then my stand-up video started to do well. Then you don't also want to pigeonhole yourself into just doing that one thing. Like I could have done a modern Seinfeld video every day for 10 years if I wanted to. But I was like, I'm going to diversify and just throw it to the wall and see what sticks. Because every time they told me the rule of this or that, I've broken it. And it seems to do okay and go well. There are none. And then the second blow up about 6 months later was when that woman was at the club and she called me racist. And like the thing about that is she was drunk. I knew she was drunk before I even went on stage. This was an 11 o'clock show, Friday, Midtown Broadway Comedy Club. We get a lot of tourists there sometimes. People are just they've been walking around all day. They're tired. They've been drinking. It's a problem. And it's a basement. I do maybe 10 minutes about dogs. Sometimes I just can't get off of a rant. And like I was going after pugs, German shepherds, everything, rescue dog owners. I was just going at it. And then I get the light, which means I got like 5 minutes left. And I had to get this Trump joke in for this tape I was trying to submit. So I just did a hard turn and I was like, and she was like chirping at me a few times and I'd shut her down. And then I did my setup. I was like, I'm probably the most pro-anti-Trump comic out there. And then she just went, no, you're not. You're racist. And then I screamed like, shut the fuck up, which is like a musket. That only works once. You could scream shut the fuck at somebody one time.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work after that, then you have to get real defensive or deflective. And she just kept yelling. One of my favorite shows when I was a kid was Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. There was this character named Cheese. And every time somebody got mad at Cheese, they would yell and he would get quieter. And I learned that from Cheese. So she's yelling at me, getting all worked up. And I'm a clown. It's my job to make fun of how ridiculous you look for being for being mad at me for something that has nothing to do with anything. And I kept asking her, what are you mad at? I will apologize for it if you tell me. And she just wasn't. And I was funnier than she was drunk. And she started crying. And I called her Kamala Harris right when the security guard was kicking her out. And the comedy gods blessed me with her walking right in the frame and shedding one lone tear as soon as I called her Kamala Harris, like those old Native American commercials. After the show, she gets kicked out. She goes and meets my friend Jared Waters, and she's like, "Can you believe they kicked me out of the show?" And Jared was like, "Who got you kicked out? Like, I know it wasn't Troy." And she was like, "Yeah, it was Troy." And he was like, "You had to do something really bad to get Troy kick you out." Yeah. And he was like, "Listen." She explained the situation to him, and he's like, "If it's bad as you say it is, Troy's definitely gonna post a clip of it." And so they exchanged numbers, and she was like, "Send it to me when he does." And he sent it to her, and then she was like, I'll be honest, I wish she never sent this to me. And I'm guessing hundreds of her friends sent it to her because that video got like 60 million on TikTok,
Yeah, that
like
went
10 million on
big.
YouTube.
That
Huge.
big.
So like, and it was on like front page of Public Freakout on Reddit. Like somebody said there's one character on the internet, main character on the internet, and you don't ever want to be it.
Yeah.
And that poor woman got to be, and like she reached out and like I told my friend to like tell her she can come to any shows she wants. I'm not mad at her. I honestly should buy her something very nice because she did a lot of good things for my career. But she never reached out. I don't blame her. But if you're listening to this, Kamala, you're welcome to come to any show, especially if you've had a few drinks. Please, let's put a Die Hard 2 on this puppy. All right? I'm ready to go franchise. Let's do this. We'll make this a Tyler Perry thing. Let's go. I will be racist if that'll get me more views. I'm ready. I have a whole blackface act planned out. I call it the Sammy Davis Jr. the second. I'm the Candyman.
That was my friend's goat. I went to Florida State, and my friend had a pet goat, and his name was Sammy Davis Jr. Jr.
Incorporate that. All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.